Where shall we go today? Where shall we go? Where do you want to go today? Let's go to Ludlow. Ludlow is a market town in Shropshire, England. It is only 154 miles away from London. The town is significant in the history of the Welsh Marches. It is not far away from Shrewsbury. There are two rivers in Ludlow, the Corve and the Teme. The oldest part is the medieval walled town, founded in the late 11th century after the Norman conquest of England. It is centred on a small hill which is on the eastern bank bend of the River Teme. Situated on this hill is Ludlow Castle and the Parish Church, St Lawrence's. It's the largest in the country. The main high street slopes downward to the River Teme. At the time of the Domesday Book, the area was part of the large Stanton parish and manor. During the 12th century, the planned town of Ludlow was formed in stages, the town providing a useful source of income for successive marcher lords, based on rents, fines and tolls. Where the bridge is now used to be a ford. St Lawrence's Church was rebuilt and enlarged in 1199 to 1200. The area features heavily in folk stories and is possibly an inspiration for the Robin Hood legend. The castle complex has been expanded many times, including in 1306. It was a fortified palace. The young Edward III was entertained at the castle in 1329. Market Day was held every Thursday through the 15th century, particularly for the sale of wool and cloth. There were also metalworkers, shoemakers, butchers, drapers, mercers, tailors, cooks, bakers, and the Palmers Guild, who dealt mainly in wool. During the War of the Roses, Richard, Duke of York, seized the castle and turned it into one of his main strongholds. It was recaptured in 1459. The town contains several coaching inns, public houses, and alehouses, and there were many court records of alcohol-induced violence and a certain reputation for excess. There were several passenger and mail coaches that arrived and departed every week, including the Aurora coach, which departed for London, taking 27 hours in 1822. The Angel was the last coaching inn in Ludlow to have such coach traffic. In 1802, Horatio Nelson was awarded freedom of the borough. He stayed at the Angel coaching inn on Broad Street, together with his mistress Emma and her husband Sir William Hamilton. During the Napoleonic Wars, Lucien Bonaparte, younger brother of the French Emperor, and his family were imprisoned at Denham House in 1811. More recently, tourism has become the major interest in the town, although in 1983 a small computer magazine started publication in Ludlow, owned by Roger Keane, Oliver Frey and Franco Frey. The Newsfield Publication Limited, called Crash, catered for various owners of the ZX Spectrum, and its sister magazine, Zap64, catered for the Commodore 64. The magazines were very popular and became Britain's biggest selling computer magazines, selling over 100,000 copies monthly. That's all the boring facts out of the way. Now we can have some fun in Ludlow! This is the first. The toilet's got a cattle grid. What the hell? To be fair, for such a medievally town, it's got a massive car park, which I haven't actually parked in because I didn't find this until, well, now. But what I have found is this, which is amazing. Basically, it's a map of what's going on there as you look over the wall. But it's also got braille on. Now you know me and tactile stuff. I love it. We've got a triangle thing here. It's a triangle with like a plaque, various different bits and pieces, in this lovely little park thing next to the car park. And there you go, another one of the things. And obviously someone's drawn or scratched on cock and balls. Banks is back. Now this I get. Ludlow Sensory Garden. And you've got Ludlow in bloom would like to thank Tesco's and Bags of Help, the Sensory Garden, for the blind disabled the idea of the group. Now, if you're blind, you can read that as well with the braille. You see? So that makes sense because you can see the actual flowers. Even I can smell them. It's very nice. I was expecting more of a ding dong from them, but anyway. know I take the mickey all the time and everything, but this is one of the nicest monuments, war memorials I think I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot. Looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Apparently it's ye old jail, and it's even got the original wording up there as well, which was probably painted in 1672. It's got a lovely outdoor market. Sadly it's not open at the moment, but it is after 7 o'clock at night, so what do you expect? It's not 24 hour, is it? Then I think of white stuff. I normally think of fridges and washing machines or bodily fluids. Bodily fluids, shh, don't say anything. I don't think of clothes anyway. Well, we're not far from Wales, Welsh lands where they're all tiny, but in Ludlow they were all massive. Stick them on a horse and you had to have archers that big to get them through. But now people don't use horses anymore, and they've shrunk a bit because they've been kind of intermingling with the Welshes, so they just break that bit up and put a roof on it and everything, so everything's like normal. But it wasn't, because everyone was huge. If you like your buildings rickety, there you go. To be fair, these walkways are actually quite wide, and they are actually part of the main shopping centre as well, because these ones here are all shops. With the other walkway, which is there, see, another walkway. If you like walkways, come to Ludlow. If you like other things as well. 1581. This was a water point where you got your water from. Don't know what happened after 1581. Now you know me, I love a nice archway. And that is a nice archway. It's plain, it's made of brick, but it's very nice. As is this, which is one of these markets on stilts that they had to stop the burglars because they couldn't rob, because they didn't know how to go upstairs, because it was like the 1500s and they didn't, well, stairs were invented, but only intelligent people knew how to use them. And a lot of the burglars were not intelligent. So if you put your valuables upstairs, the burglars couldn't get there, but then you could have your market downstairs and sell it to people. The market stuff, that is, obviously. So yeah, beautiful. Love it. Now history, I've never been involved with history, but I'm actually involved with history, because when I was a youngster and the Commodore Amiga came out, and before that the Commodore 64, that, or here, is where it was produced. I always thought it was in somewhere like really expensive, but no, it was here. I've never been happier. Let's have a look. It's upstairs anyway, it says. So if you were a Zap or Crash reader back in the day, weirdly, Jazz and all them, they used to be talking of white liquid, not white liquid, white stuff. Actually made there, the magazine, back in the 1980s and early 90s. I was not expecting to find some history that I was part of, but there you go. Hello. Hello. Even though Ludlow was invented before, well, colour paint, that's why all the buildings are black and white, they did have the first ever electric gates, and I kid you not, that is they. And if we're lucky, we might hear them shut. Then again, we might not. But they also had the Victorians come round, and they basically, well, built the buildings wrong. But they are very pretty, these buildings, and I particularly like, I give up with the electric door, it's not going to shut. I particularly like the angle, which is some kind of restaurant or hotel or whatever. Look at that. It's got two bulbous windows on it, and we like a good bulbous window. It's a road, it's not a roundabout. Apparently in the 1700s an artist lived here, but because this was built before that, then it's black and white, but I am pretty sure he was a colour artist, although I don't know. This is one of the first colour buildings in history. Admitted, they only had yellow to add to the black. I mean, I was excited before about the zap and everything, but I'm getting a bit, there's blue plaques everywhere. This one is for Solleys of Richard Castle. Parliamentarians and Whigs. Is that like wags? Wags at war. Wagatha. Is it Wigathas and Whigs at war? And then number 19, Marmaduke Gwyn of Breckonshire and his daughter. So it's like spot the building without a blue plaque on. I mean, literally, if you've got a building without a blue plaque on, you haven't got a building, because I can literally cross the road. It's after 7 at night, it's quite quiet, and we've got this building here, which is called Oriel House. It's where they invented the Oriel biscuits, and there's a plaque that tells you about the biscuits being invented here, the Oriel biscuits. Although, weirdly, the building isn't black and white, it's just white. Oddly, this building here, which is huge, doesn't have a black plaque, but it should have a black plaque, a blue plaque even, just for saying it's a massive building. But 2 doors down, blue plaque, superb. Some unusual architecture. It's quite a steep hill, this, to be fair, it's a very steep hill. As you can see here, the road just goes level, just because it can. And then you've got a narrow walkway, which you can't actually walk through, but you can drive cars through, as long as you go very, very, very slowly. You could even ride bikes through it as well, so it would seem. But it's more designed for cars. You have to take your time though. Don't want to scratch your paintwork, or knock the building down. Of course it's got a plaque. And it's also got some very nice woodwork, stone arch, with a bit that you would put the metal gate thing down to stop people getting in. And then you come out at the bottom here, and you look this way, and they basically built that on top of the wall. Like I said before, the people of Ludlow were very advanced. The first ones to have electric gates and all that kind of thing. And also, they couldn't be arsed building a big wide bridge. Well, why would you bother? Because they invented traffic lights. And these are the original traffic lights, which were set up in 1622. This bridge is also built on a hill. It's one of the first bridges to be lower at one end and now at the other end deliberately, unlike the bridges we have seen where it wasn't deliberate, it just happened. And we've got these fabulous parking spaces here for the horse and carts, so they could pass equally before the traffic lights were installed. So again, they were thinking ahead. We'll build a bridge, but then we'll make it future-proof, and then we'll put traffic lights on it once we've invented them. People of Ludlow, geniuses. No wonder there's so many blinking blue plaques. Every town's got a prick, and they've always got a Volkswagen Golf as well. He's just gone past. Brilliant. So a nice house here, which had the enlarged archway for the people riding horses. And, you know, I couldn't believe this, it's got a plaque. Virgin Mary Hospital. I didn't realise she was ill. Anyway, it's nice of them to make one just in case she turns up. You can always spot the stingy people, can't you? Wind attacks avoidance. Time warp. as featured on Grand Designs with Kevin McThunderstorm. This building is, well, near completion, and hopefully people should be in before 1612. Well, turns out Zap wasn't the first thing to do with computers here in Ludlow. From 10 to 6 to 6:15, Mary Edwards was a computer. The Missinic Hall is a building in two parts, but they've stuck them together. So does that make it one building? I don't know, I haven't worked it out yet. To be fair, these buildings have got quite small doors. So this must be when the Welshes first moved in to Ludlow before they started taking over. Well, shrinking the population, literally. Wonder Horse is closed. Champion. Knick-knack shop. Got a mountaineering shop. To be fair, you need it living in here. So many hills. Again, some bizarre architecture. It's kind of Victorian, but it's on a different angle. We're in the town centre, next to Greg's, which is closed at the moment, is a blue plaque. Another blue plaque. Opposite, a very nice building, which itself has also got a blue plaque on it. But to say the church is more than a little bit impressive. You can hear ghostly voices as well. It's very spooky. Blue plaque. The church is massive. I think it's actually bigger than the town itself. I know they built the town around it, but you know what I mean. If you got the town, tried to stick it in this, it wouldn't fit. It just goes on and on and on. It's gorgeous. More ghostly voices again. Must admit that does creep me out a little bit because I don't believe in ghosts. But I mean, I can hear them, so therefore it must be true. Whatever it is, I can hear. Guess what I found? Blue plaque. How many is that? About 30. Ludlow Green Festival, it says. There's also a festival for the Fringe. There's also probably Bill and M&M and all the other ones as well. So they do a lot. Plaque. Spar. Nothing unusual about that, you say? Yeah, apart from this spar seems to be in the British Home Stores, which is weird. The old Ritz. First cinema in the world. So you can still build in this place. I suppose it's a never-ending job, isn't it? Definitely don't need a blue plaque for this one. This is the first cannon ever that I've touched. There you go. You can see the architecture in this building here is superb. It's right next to the castle as well, so it deserves to be this nice, this building. And it's even got a plaque there, another blue plaque, so that's 48 now. Some buildings are just greedy. I know it's the most architecturally perfect building in Ludlow, but two, you're taking the mickey. But it has got some modern technology. It's got a telephone kiosk, which, as far as I can make out, has still got a telephone in it. Although you can't get into it because the bush is in the way. Oh. Although this is now a castle, originally it was a factory and it was used to make stuff that hadn't been invented anywhere else in the world at all. Sadly, that included explosives, which is why the castle or the factory shut, because they blew it up. Fools. This doesn't look at all scary, does it? To be fair, it looks a lot lighter to you than it does to me. So that's the castle wall. I assume it's the castle wall anyway, it looks like a wall, and it's near the castle. And that's a sheer drop to hell. To be fair, it's more like a rock face that the castle's built on top of. That's a scary tree. Just about to see the castle at the top. Why is it abandoned seats? Make me uneasy. Keep finding them. It's weird. I feel like Dora the Explorer. Should I go left or right? Left or right? Should I go left or should I go right? I'm going left. But I said right, you silly cow. Only ever seen one episode of Dora the Explorer and that was enough for me. Fuming! She went left and she should have gone right. That was a recreation. A bit like a Crime Watch recreation, only without the crime or the watching. I'm still going. I think we can just about make little bits of the castle out. There you go. We've even got the ramparts as well, which are original. Just seeing some bunny rabbits, but I've left my bow and arrow in the car, so I ain't walking through the nettles to get them. They're around about here somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to leave them. I'll just have vegan rabbit pie instead tonight. I'm lying, I'm not having rabbit pie. Any kind. Somehow I managed to get myself inside the castle. I wasn't expecting, I'll be honest. It was the magic gate of Narnia, which has also got this area here, which is rather nice. Another gateway. I think that just takes us back to like the present day. So a big posh house, massive big posh house, and yes, it's got a blue plaque on it. Lucien Bonaparte was prisoner here in 1811. mean, I know I get things wrong sometimes, but surely it's Napoleon, isn't it? And still they keep coming. 18th century house named after Chris Cross from Criss Cross. So within gobbing distance of the big house with the plaque and Criss Cross's blue plaque, I've got a blue plaque. And this one is Dunham Hall, built in 1792. Slow builders though, they haven't finished it. Another blue plaque. Unbelievable, Jeff. Another blue plaque. And this one is for that house, which is spectacular, to be fair. Go away. If you're crap at parking, you can come to Ludlow because you can just park anywhere you want. All angles, fantastic. I bet it is. It's been here for like 200 years. This is where you got your water from back in the day. Now I get it from a bottle. Thank you very much, technology. So anyway, if you want to come somewhere that's got some really interesting architecture and more blue plaques that you can shake a stick at. In fact, I have someone, and I've only found some in the region of 1.2% of the blue plaques in Ludlow, wherever I am. So yeah, get yourselves down here. And you can even go to Narnia. What more could you possibly want out of life other than that? And here we are, back in the present day. Till next time, bye. Where shall we go today? Where shall we go? Where do you want to go today? Let's go to